Hey y'all, it's Morgan, and it has been 2 years since I had my hysterectomy for adenomyosis and pelvic adhesions. And let me tell you, life looks so different now compared to 2 years ago, and 3 years ago, and 4 years ago when I was deep in the thick of being sick. I've made several videos on the symptoms I was having and also documenting the recovery process, and I'll link those down below if you want to check it out. But basically, I was having daily nausea and vomiting and couldn't keep food down like at all, and lost about 50 pounds and was very underweight, very weak, and on top of that I had very severe back pain, and like from the pelvic adhesions I was being pulled to the side, and like couldn't even sit upright in a chair for very long without like wanting to cry, and I had like very extreme painful bloating. And don't even get me started on the hellish pain of pooping. I was housebound, my quality of life was very low. I couldn't do any of the cleaning in the house. I couldn't do any cooking, but I couldn't eat anyways. I stopped driving. I had over 100 unread messages. Just talking to people was out of the question. I lost the ability to do a lot of things, like I couldn't even pick up a gallon of milk. And I kind of lost the will to live. It's not a good time. Not a good time. 10 out of 10. Don't recommend getting sick like that. Not like I had any control over it, but horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Do not wish any of it on my worst enemies. Finally, in July of 2022, I had a hysterectomy, which revealed adenomyosis and also pelvic adhesions that they removed. And with the source of the problem gone, I could finally heal. But it was a bumpy road. It was 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I was constantly figuring out my new limitations, which would usually cause a flare and cause me to slide backward. I did little exercises at home and what movement I could, which really wasn't much in the beginning, and slowly built up, and I gained back a lot of strength and mobility. And I started expanding the foods that I could eat, even though sometimes that wasn't always great, resulted in some reactions. But gradually, my new normal started to form. I no longer suffer from daily nausea and vomiting and low appetite. My appetite's been really good for the past several months for the most part, and it has allowed me to gain much needed weight and muscle. My average pain these days is like a 3 to 4, whereas it used to be like a 7, 8, and that is a pretty big difference, like I still have pain, but like I can function pretty decently. Bathroom activities are no longer painful, and they're just normal, not dreadful activities, unless I eat something that didn't agree with me, which I don't always know what's not going to agree with me, so that's not very fun. But I usually stick to my safe foods. I'm able to do a lot of house chores now. I gradually built up what I could do. I do the dishwasher now pretty much all the time, which used to make me nauseous, and I physically hand wash dishes now, which I used to be too weak and caused too much back pain, like this jarring motion of rubbing back and forth, just worst. My back would be done for. Folding laundry I do pretty regularly now. It used to be that would just wear me out so thoroughly. And I vacuum. Although I don't use the big vacuum, I have a small handheld one, and more spot vacuum when I see cat hair gathering, instead of doing a full thorough vacuum. My husband does that still, because ooh, that's a lot of work. But I do a pretty good job of maintaining the house, the kitchen, and a lot of the rooms are tidy most of the time. Before, I couldn't tidy anything. I just couldn't do anything at all. So it feels good to be able to do things that keep my house cleaner, as clean as it can be with 5 cats. And my husband does a great job of helping with the house chores and work, and even when I was sick, he did what he could. He works a full-time job on top of trying to take care of me and everything, so he has helped a ton, and this is just me kind of taking back over the house stuff that I can. I no longer have over 100 unread messages. I reply in a decently timely manner. I will reply, and I have a much larger capacity to socialize. I can have back-to-back weekends of activities now, and you know, like I still need to rest and be aware of like what I'm doing the few days before activities and all of that, but like I can be much more socially active sometimes. The last 6 months have been like relatively stable, and I've only had one like major flare in there about 3-4 months ago where pain went up, nausea up, and low appetite, and so then not much movement and activity, just not eating enough to do that. And that lasted probably like 2 weeks with like an extra week of getting back to normal. But other than that, I've had maybe just like some small flares, but luckily my appetite has stayed with me even when the pain has gone up. So that's good at least. Because one of the really bad things that sucks about flaring is like I can feel the muscle that I've worked so hard to build just like fading away in the calorie deficit. But I know the flares are temporary and I'll get through it, but they still suck. I try really hard to move daily and get enough protein. Building back muscle has been really important in my mobility and helping the pain, because like the weaker I get, the more the pain goes up, and like it's not like getting stronger is fixing the pain, but it helps stabilize my body so then it's not getting weak and just like doing funky things. But I don't do intense workouts. I mostly do like low impact standing activities, and I also consider like the housework that I do physical activity. Like, and I actually don't dread housework when I think of it that way. I'm like, oh, washing dishes is a shoulder exercise, like holding on my shoulders. Like vacuuming, that's like a core thing. Bending over, it's a back thing. You know, like all of these activities, they work muscles of the body. So that's kind of how I look at a lot of this stuff. And I do movement kind of like sporadic through the day. I'll do like just kind of like some random arm stuff or some ab stuff, like as I'm standing doing things. Like I don't have like a strict exercise routine, and like I think I'll make a video about it at some point because I think it could help other people to like see what I'm doing, because like I'm really not doing a lot. Like I don't watch people doing videos, I don't have a routine, I don't do sets of 3 and whatever. Like I do what feels okay, and that looks different on every day. My body is really sensitive to cardio and intense workouts, so having this Fitbit has helped a lot, especially in my movement practice, because then I can be like, oh, I see this is getting like a little too high for me to be comfortable, like let me tone it down for a little bit. Because before, like I would just go based off feeling, and then by the time like I'm feeling bad, then it might be too late to kind of rein it in. And this has just been helpful in daily activities too, because even sometimes my usual daily chores, like cleaning the cat litter boxes, will cause my heart rate to go up more than usual, and then it lets me know like maybe today's a chill day, we'll reevaluate tomorrow. Overall, this is the best I've felt in like 4 years, and although I do feel a lot better, I'm not anywhere near my pre-sickness self, and I have limitations. I don't know that I'll ever be completely pain-free or have no symptoms at all, to be honest, and I've accepted that. My hysterectomy has given me so much of my life back, and for that I'm very thankful. However, I do want to try to figure out like if there's something else going on and if there's something I can do about it. The problem with that is finding a doctor that will investigate. I finally saw a pain specialist recently, and it did not go as I had hoped or expected. They were more interested in pain solutions such as injections and pills instead of running diagnostics. And I had thought that pain specialists would be who would be able to discuss pain and things that cause pain and things like that, but I was wrong. And it was extra frustrating because I'd already been to a rheumatologist for these problems, and I had an MRI done on my SI joints for them to be checked out, and it came back fine, and the rheumatologist didn't run any more tests. She didn't do any blood work other than what my primary care had done, the blood work that had sent me there in the first place. And I had brought up what I thought was the issue with the rheumatologist, which is I think I have fibromyalgia, and she gave me a podcast, and like that was that. And so I was like, okay, maybe she just like wasn't the one to talk to about that. So I was like, maybe a pain specialist is who will know what's up. But I was only with her like 5 to 10 minutes and did not even get to bring up the possibility of fibromyalgia because she was walking out the door. But I don't even know if she asked if I had any other questions. So it was a little disappointing, to say the least. And I didn't realize how disappointing until I got in the car, was talking to my husband, and I ended up crying on the way home because if the pain specialist wasn't gonna help me and the rheumatologist wasn't the one to help me, then what doctor am I supposed to see? If you go online, fibromyalgia, and search fibromyalgia, the doctor says to see is a rheumatologist. And so I looked through all of the rheumatologists at this place that I'd went, and none of their profiles mentioned anything about fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia is not even classified as an autoimmune disorder, yet it's supposed to be treated by people that treat autoimmune disorders, and I don't even know. So if you or someone you know has been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I would like to know what the process was like, what doctor you saw. Did you bring it up? Did your doctor bring it up to you? Because I just don't know where to go next. I got a textbook, it's like a medical textbook on fibromyalgia to see if this is what I have and what to do, because I don't know what doctor to see. And if that doesn't say something about being chronically ill, you have to figure it out and not the doctors. I don't know what else does. Anyways, I hope that you find these hysterectomy updates helpful and insightful. Not every hysterectomy is the same. The reasons for getting them are different, the recovery is different, but I think that these stories are impactful and helpful to many people going through these experiences. People sharing their experiences was what helped me realize what was going on with my own body and helped me prepare for what was to come. And I want these stories to help other people like I was helped. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I hope to see you again soon in the next video. Bye!